everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Nintendo Fanboyz. It's been quite a while since the two of us have actually been here, but today is a very special episode because we're going to be talking about something that is near and dear to my heart, or near and dear to Steven's heart, or maybe not near and dear to any of our hearts, but whatever. So let's begin this show with what we typically do, which is, what have you been up to? What have you been doing? What have you been playing, if anything at all? And I'm going to start this because with me, it's quite simple. I haven't been playing a damn thing. And that's pretty much all she wrote. It's been glorious. After I did that little Link to the Past playthrough that was a disaster, which wasn't even a playthrough, I have not picked up anything. I have been so bloody busy that basically gaming, movies, anything like that has been non-existent. So you're going to have to regale us with your stories and adventures of free time.
You either have a terrible memory or you're just a plain liar, because you've played Zelda Link's Awakening.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, there you go.
So talk about that.
I refuse. So Link's Awakening I finished in 2 sittings. I basically, that's why I didn't even think of that. Awesome. I really loved that game on the original Game Boy. Unlike, I feel like it's like the whole planet missed this game on the Game Boy, because all the videos that are online, almost everybody's like, oh, I played it in 98, played it in 98. And when they talk about that, what they're referencing is the remake.
DX.
Yeah, exactly. So like the color, remake wasn't really a remake, but the color version that was re-released. And it's weird because like I was there day one at Toys R Us and I picked up Link's Awakening. I still have my original box, my original everything. And I loved it. Coming off of A Link to the Past, which it was released a year after A Link to the Past, I thought it was like, it is my favorite original Game Boy game of all time. And it's because I still, to this day, cannot believe what they were able to do with the original Game Boy hardware. I just find it incredible. I played that game on the Fat Boy, and I thought I really did think it was one of the like just standout titles for the platform. I don't understand how the hell they did it. I mean, you go back and you look at like Super Mario Land, you look at your Pokemon, you look at all these different games that were released on it, and there were so many games released on it. And I still say that I feel, anyway, that Link's Awakening is like this whole other category. I can't believe the way it looks, the way it plays, how smooth it is. Just all around, just an incredible game. And this particular remake is awesome. I really enjoy some of the quality of life improvements that were made. The fact that you don't have to swap weapons every 2 seconds. They added some seashells. I believe they even added some heart pieces. But for the most part, this is pretty much a 1-to-1 remake of the game. Like screen by screen, it's pretty much the exact same game. I mean, there's a few changes here and there, but I think that's actually a testament to what I just said. The fact that it remains my favorite Game Boy game of all time, and the fact that now it's easily accessible for everyone to go ahead and check out, I think is awesome. They even have, I don't know if you did this, but they even have the color dungeon in there from the DX version, which was really cool. So yeah, just all around, I think it's a real testament to just how awesome the original game was, being the fact that they barely changed anything in terms of the core gameplay. I loved it. I really loved it. It's just that it's a very fast Zelda. The dungeons aren't overly long or complicated. Maybe the last 1 or 2 might stump you, but for the rest, it's a very fast Zelda game to beat, which is not a knock on it, not at all. Again, remembering where it came from. But yeah, so I absolutely loved it. I loved it, loved it, loved it, and I finished it. Yeah, I think it was like 2 or 3 sittings. And it's funny, I've been so engrossed in Dragon Quest XI in the limited capacity that I can play it that I just totally forgot about Link's Awakening. That's hilarious. So, anyways, what about you?
Yeah, well, I might as well talk about Link's Awakening. I asked if I did the color dungeon. I did everything in the game. I even beat all of Dampé's shack missions, which took forever. Like I checked my playtime, and it took me 25 hours to do everything. So I really like I disagree about you about the dungeons. Like probably you played the game a lot more than I do, so you probably had a good memory of the game. But I played the game. I played the original Link's Awakening, and I played it again in '98 when the deluxe version came out. But since '98 or '99, I had not replayed this game. So like the Eagle Tower, which is the seventh dungeon, I believe, like took me like almost 3 hours to complete, and I remember most of it, but it just I find that some of these dungeons like are really well designed, and they have some really good puzzles and clues and what you need to do to defeat. Even the 8th dungeon took me over an hour, close to 2 to complete. It's like I really, really love the dungeons in Link's Awakening, and the added stuff like the Dampé stuff, which was supposed to mimic kind of Mario Maker, has potential, but the way it was done, it's much more of a single player thing and can be quite repetitive. But I found I enjoyed it quite a lot. Did you try or mess around with that at all?
Yeah, they're. I was not a fan. I made it to the third tier, and I did I think 2 on the third tier, and I just found it so repetitive. Like I was just. To be honest, I was getting bored out of my mind. I started to design my dungeons in such a way that basically there was no enemies. Like I would go as fast as I could to just get out of there. I really love the concept. It's just it's like I don't know. It felt almost like an alpha version of Super Mario Maker type of thing. Like there's so much potential to do some really cool stuff. And I just found they dumbed it down too much. Like it was just way too simple. Maybe that was just me though. Whatever.
Yeah, no, most people are on your feel the same way you do. I don't think this is meant to be Mario Maker. That's what they wanted it to be, but obviously does not work because you don't really have any freedom at all. You just basically put tiles that were in previous dungeons in a certain order in order to create it. I see this more as I found it more like a Zelda puzzle game because like you said, you try to make it as easy as you can, and that's what I do because you want it, unless you want to put like 20 hours into these, especially once you complete the third tier and you're in the fourth tier when you need to do like 12 more rooms, and the rooms are huge, and there's one where every single room needs to be a stair. So that one took me a while because you need to put them in certain order, and you only have a limited amount of tiles that have the stairs, so it takes quite a while to finish. But I actually enjoyed this, but yeah, this is not, and also you can't actually share your creations because you can make creations that follow no sets of rules, just as long as there's a start and an end and every room is connected. You can make your own levels, but you can't actually share them online, which I did not understand why you could not do that. It could have been maybe fun for some people, but yeah, really enjoyed Link's Awakening. It caught me off guard because my original plan, Link's Awakening came out on the 20th, and it's a Friday, and I know 1 week later, Dragon Quest XI, which will be our main topic today, was coming out. So I wanted to finish Zelda in the week. I wanted to make sure to finish it as quickly as possible so I would have time, because I really wanted to invest time into Dragon Quest XI since I really enjoyed the demo. But I ended up like completely throwing myself into that game and doing everything and just falling in love with it, and like really like it. This is probably my top 3 game of the year. I really did not expect to love this game as much as I did. Just I don't know what it is about that game, but really fantastic remake, I thought, and it looks like you're moving out of your house or something. There's so much noise right now. What you doing?
Really?
Looks like somebody, like movers are coming out and setting up new furniture and stuff.
Okay. Besides my cat, like crying like an idiot, I don't know anything else going on. But you're right about Link's Awakening, though. I was very, very pleasantly surprised by it, and definitely considering it's probably one of only like maybe 7 or 8 games I've actually played this year. Definitely on the list. And actually, you know what? I kept a list. Let's see. Oh, he's going to be so mad at me today. Let's see. Game of the year. Because I'm actually going back to the school. Yeah, let's go. We have links. Let's write this. So I've actually played 6 games. Nice. Not bad.
Amazing.
Yeah. Gato Roboto was this year?
Yep.
Wow. And cool. All right. See, I keep a list now because I know that you're always on my ass.
Well, yeah. Well, your memory is so...
Well, I'm kind of busy.
You played Link's
looking
Awakening
on
a few days ago and you forgot about it. So
yeah, exactly. Moved on.
So that game is so good that you forgot about it 4
Yeah.
days after.
Yep, not bad, eh? That's the way I roll. So what else have you been playing? Because you play everything.
Yeah, I actually play a lot of stuff on the Switch. It's really a wonderful console for my lifestyle.
I know, it's amazing. It's a good thing that you bought it, eh?
Yeah, it is. I finished Fire Emblem.
Bastard. Yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to give you credit. You don't deserve it, the way you've been treating me lately. I finished Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's been a while, but I haven't done a podcast in 6 weeks, and you either. So at some point when I was playing the game, I thought this would end up being my favorite Fire Emblem. It did not actually by the end, but there's a lot of stuff I like. I really like the fact that you can customize everybody to a certain class and try to raise certain stats for them to become some kind of warrior, or I don't remember the class's name, but they have a bunch of like beginner class, intermediate class, advanced class, and master classes. And obviously you want, by the last few chapters, you want as many characters in the master classes as possible, and it's really a challenge, and it's a lot of fun to do so, and really fantastic game. I think I still prefer Awakening over it, just because let's just say that there's a chapter, a mission that I thought should have been the final chapter, and after you've done that, there's a few more which were a bit underwhelming after that. So I don't know why they chose to do that, but whatever. I thought the story kind of dove down after that chapter, and the other ones seemed like filler to me, but that might just be me. I've seen online that many people actually share that sentiment. And the whole replay value, well, it's true. It just... I started a new game plus, and I just don't feel like doing all the stuff over again, because the other Fire Emblems, at least all you did was chapters, but there's so much talking in this game and so much exploring that I just couldn't bring myself to do it all over again, even though there's some nice bonuses, and like you can basically restart the game and you have a lot of stat advances that you don't have usually when you're in that game. It's still, I don't feel like replaying all that boring little side stuff that you need to do in order to like actually get the most of the story. And because there's 3 different paths, and I would love to know what the 2 other paths different from the path I chose, but it seems like that would be a lot of work. Like the game took me 45 hours, I believe, to beat, and it seems like doing the other playthroughs would be another 20 each at least. So, and I think there's even a 4th playthrough if you want to get the full ending or whatever. So you're looking at like over 100 hours, and it's just, I don't love the game that much, so decided to stop. But it was really, really enjoyable game. Just, I think it had a bit more potential, but for some reason just didn't click at the end. Also, since I apparently you don't care about Fire Emblem. I'm gonna move to.
I don't care about Fire Emblem. Nice.
That Road to Canada, which Cranberry mentioned a bit during Tim's streams, and even when you used to stream a few years ago, she would comment stuff and reference stuff about That Road to Canada. So I thought I'd try it, and it's a really fun game. Played over 3 hours of it. It's kind of like it's a roguelike game. So you're basically in a zombie apocalypse, and you're trying to make it to Canada, because apparently in Canada there's no zombies. I don't know why. I've never made it all the way. So you need to survive for 10 days, 10 driving days, because every time you need to pick up like supplies like food, medical stuff, and gas for your car. And often you'll run out of gas and your car will break down, so you'll need to walk. And when you walk, you don't go as far, so it doesn't count as a driving day. But I've made it all the way to 1. I had only one more driving day, and then I died because of a horde that just... So there's a lot of random elements in this game. You could have an absolute masterpiece of a game, and then in one turn you'll be dead. Like, the game is not really... I think you need to play this and just have fun, and don't worry about the results, and eventually you'll get to Canada, and just... as more as you play, you'll find out certain scenarios and how to play them. So I hope to one day be able to get to Canada. I've always wanted to visit Canada, so we'll see. But it's really a fun, well-made game. Probably one of the best roguelite. That and Binding of Isaac, I think, are some of my favorite of the genre. So that's pretty much it.
Nice. Very nice. So thanks for watching, everybody, and have a good day. Just end off.
Yeah.
So you've been playing one other game.
Yeah, but I want you to talk about it, because you've played... How much? You've played about, what, 5-10 hours of it?
I have no idea, man.
Because it shows you when you save. It shows you.
Oh, yeah, but I can't... It includes the demo time.
Yeah, well, include the demo and then subtract it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I put in the demo. And to be honest, that's a good thing. You just reminded me. I don't save often, although I captured footage this morning because I had a chance, and it's funny. Like I remembered while I was playing, I was like, "Oh crap! I really need to start saving," because that's the thing with the Switch. I always leave it in suspend mode. I started that with the I think the PlayStation Vita, not Vita, the PlayStation Portable, because its battery was like, pretty crappy. So I would never shut it off. I would just leave it at like rest, and then plug it in whenever. So it was basically always plugged in unless I was using it, and then it was in rest. And the DS was more or less the same thing. So I've been doing that for a long, long time now. And so with the Switch, I just press the home key, right? Put it back to the dashboard, and then I just put it to sleep, which is not exactly the smartest thing. I also was skipping like virtually every single cutscene, so that really boosted. I have no idea. I'll have to check to see what the hours are, but I'm at the point right now where I'm going after the 4th or 5th orb.
Okay, so you're actually well ahead of me.
Well ahead of you? How's that possible?
Oh, you mean, okay, so you count the 2 orbs they give you right away, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Okay, because I'm going after the 4th orb.
So, you did the school?
I'm not sure if I did the school. I'm actually currently at the Academy of the Notre Maître de Médaille.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the school.
Yeah, that's where I am right now. I'm just finishing up the final quest there. And then I'm gonna head off, and in whichever direction. I'm just basically taking my time and making sure to explore like everything I can before I see that this direction is the story direction.
Okay, all right. We're pretty much, sounds like we're right around the same place.
Well, for a guy that doesn't have much time, you've actually probably played like for at least 12 hours if you're there. Because that's at least for me, that's...
Yeah, but you're watching all the videos, right? Because that adds a lot of time.
Yeah.
I'm playing in super fast forward mode, skipping every single scene possible, because I already know the story. I don't need to do it.
Yeah, but
I'll
there's
take,
not
I'll take a
that
look.
much scenes though. But like maybe you save like 30 minutes. Because
I don't know,
I'm
man.
playing in
Because
super fast, super duper mode too.
Yeah, but I'm not exploring anything, eh? Like I go in a town, I go directly to the thing. I don't buy gear, I don't buy anything. I just go straight to where I gotta go.
You don't even look for treasures and medals and
No, there's no point. There's
quests?
later. That's all post. There's no
Okay.
point in doing any of that right now because, well, there's just. I mean, I do a little. I don't want to say I don't do at all, but I'm not going to spend hours and hours and hours. I even show in the video this morning, like you go in a village and like, oh, 29 treasures or something crazy. I'm like, yeah, okay, nope. Next, and I just keep going because I'm not gonna spend all the time trying to find all of this, because later on in the game, especially in post, you gain access to areas that were inaccessible before. So you might do all of this and find like there's like 6 treasures you can't find, and you're just like, what the hell? Like I've been everywhere, or like 4 treasures or whatever, only to discover later on in post that there's actually areas that will like open up and there's your hidden treasures. So I'll do that later on, pretty much. But what I've been doing is before going to bed, I've been sort of doing like what you're doing. I'll play for like an hour or two and then head off to bed. Some people read books. I am apparently play Dragon Quest. But anyways, yeah, so there's a couple of substantial differences that I've noticed with the game. And when I say substantial differences, I mean like just that. There's a lot of differences between the 3DS and the PlayStation 4 version. I own it, but I never played the North American PS4 version because I was already in school at that point, and playing on the television is just not possible right now. That's the beauty of the Switch, is that I can just play it anywhere for a little bit and then like put it back to sleep, and that's it. So anyways, the biggest thing that I don't know how to say this in such a way that it's not something that I don't like per se, but it's a shame, I guess. The whole thing with the 2D areas, I'm actually not a huge fan on the Switch. I actually prefer all of that, the entire thing. What the hell are they called in English? Toggles? Is that it?
I have no clue. Tinkleton? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, whatever the hell it's called, the Yoshi. I actually much prefer the 3DS version, like completely. I just completely prefer that version to this, because for those that don't know, in the Switch version, everything is set to 16-bit graphics. Everything. So the town itself, all of the 2D areas, everything, absolutely everything is set to 16-bit mode. And that's a little disappointing because on the 3DS you had access to both. So you had access to the town in 16-bit mode plus 3D mode, and when you went into each one of the different worlds, they matched the original games that they were based on. So when you went into like Dragon Quest 1, it was actually based on the Famicom version of Dragon Quest 1. And then as you progressed through the through the different quests, you'd unlock, different games. You'd even unlock like the remaster of Dragon Quest 1 and 2, the remaster of Dragon Quest 3, and so on. And when you went into like 8, 9, 10, they were all 3D because they're 3D and, like they were 3D games. So it's not, I don't want to say like, oh, this is the worst or anything like that. It's not the worst. It's just, I was a little disappointed in the sense that it's fixed, which means that the super bosses and everything like that are all going to be 2D. And that's a little bit of a shame. I showed you guys, if you want to check it out, you can actually see it on an old video I did where I show you the super boss, the true boss of the game that is in 3D. And that's pretty much going to be exclusive to the 3DS. And the other thing that I'm kind of like, and I only discovered it this morning. When I went to do one of the quests for, like, at the academy, it's really easy. There's a trick where you swap to 2D mode, and you can easily find in the garden where you're supposed to get the shiny piece. Otherwise, you gotta switch it to night in order to find where the little shiny piece is, because during the day it's very hard to see. And I just discovered this morning that doing that, you can't actually switch back and forth to 2D to 3D. I thought you could switch at any point and you'd be good to go, but it doesn't actually work like that. You can switch. It's true, you can switch back and forth between 2D and 3D, but you have to select where in the story you are. So it'll actually reset the game to a certain point in the story, which works very similar to what happened in the 3DS and PlayStation 4 version. When you jumped from one version to the next version using the Scroll of Resurrection, it would do the same thing. It would carry over like your gold and stuff like that, but it would reset the story to a certain point in time. So that kind of sucks, because on the 3DS you could literally swap back and forth at the drop of a hat. Like you didn't have to worry about like, oh well, I got to select this portion of the story. So I'm not really a huge fan of that. It really does though make the game feel like a very distinct separate game. Like you'll have like your 2D mode and your 3D mode, but this one wasn't designed to swap back and forth with that much ease. So that actually surprised me, and I haven't read that anywhere that it worked like that. Maybe that's just me being stupid. But yeah, so I've talked for a long time now, and I know I've just said not negative per se, but just some very different elements. Now I want you to talk because I have lots to say about this, so I can go back and forth.
Yeah, what you just mentioned, I had read in the Kotaku review. And so I knew about that, but I never planned on switching back and forth. If I would do this, I would probably play the whole game in 3D and play the whole game in 2D, one or the other. But playing in 2D, I don't think you get access to right away in the beginning, so I don't think you can actually play the whole game in 2D, but close to it. As far as the Tinkleton or whatever it's called, you stole that from me, you bastard, because I mentioned that to you in a text yesterday, I believe. And I wanted to talk about that too, because I really was disappointing the first time I went there when I saw that the town was in 2D, because that's what was charming about the 3DS version, was that you went there and it was just a regular town with the 3D visuals of the 3DS version. And then you would go back and it felt like nostalgia, a trip back in time where each individual game had their original looks, or close to it at least. I'm not sure, because I wasn't sure if but apparently you could play in Dragon Quest 1, and then later in that same world you would get to the Super Famicom version. That's what you said?
Yeah.
So that's
exactly.
even better. I mean, that sounds so cool. I obviously did not make it that far. I was only like 20 hours in. And I don't know if I played the 3DS version super fast or what, because I was 20 hours into that game, and now I'm 30 hours into the Switch game, and I just passed where I was in the 3DS game. So that's interesting. But yeah, I really feel like, unfortunately, this is the only thing. I think this is the only negative part we'll have to say about this, because this is still a neat little feature that's not on the PS4 version. I'd rather have this than nothing at all, but I think this will still make the 3DS version, at the end of the day, the best version there is for people who can actually play it. Of course, I will prefer this one because it's in English, but if they would localize the 3DS version, for me, I think the 3DS version will always be the best version of 11.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know yet, right? Like, because there's a lot of good, man. There's a lot of good that comes with this game. The only other thing, just to wrap up, sort of the only negative sort of side, I'm not a fan of pretty much anything to do with the Yoshi in this one. I don't even like the fact that they just, like, their solution to the mini game was to simply make, like, the Yoshi, or whatever the hell they're called, the Tockles, I think is what they're called here, just appear. Like, so you'll go to like an area and you'll have like a green colored one, a red colored one, a purple colored one, or whatever, and you'll talk to them and they give you a code that gives you access to those other areas. I thought that could have been done a little bit better. Like, I just find that's a really lazy way of giving you access to those retro areas. Maybe that's just me, but I didn't like that. And you even see when you go to whatever Tinkle Town or Talkle Town or whatever, you can even see the red Yoshi standing in front of the cave that led to the mini game. I was like, okay, well, like if you're gonna remove all of that, why the hell didn't you just remove the cave together? Now, like I don't know. It just
I imagine that we will have access to that cave eventually, right? I know it won't be the mini game, but I imagine that cave will be unlocked at one point. I can't imagine they just let that in and just put a Yoshi in front and just said, well, there you go.
Honestly, I have no idea, dude, because what's supposed... Well, I don't know if I should talk about this. Yeah, I'm not sure what... I don't know what to do. Because I don't want to spoil... well, anyways, let's just say you didn't need to go into that cave in the 3DS one because the super bosses are not located in the cave, okay? I'll just leave it at that. So... I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't know. I that was the only thing that that kind of, I don't want to say, well, maybe rubbed me the wrong way, was just that. I was just like, oh, come on. Like there had to be something else.
I actually
Sorry?
like this. I actually like finding these little critters in the wild and knowing that it unlocks a new retro mission, which is what I call them. I don't know what they're called, but because I like exploring and I like finding treasure chests and mini medals and stuff. And when I find a little Yoshi, I'm always glad. So I have no problem with this. Unlike you, I thought that was neat. It's just more stuff to find in the wild, which
Yeah, I would agree with that, except that so far anyway, I have not found any of them by exploring. They've all been in like areas that you had to go to locate. Like, it was clear as day where they were. Now, if that changes and they start putting them in, like, you know, some of the isolated islands or stuff like that, then okay, then that's not so bad. But so far, it's just been like it's almost impossible to miss them. So anyway, but outside of that, and that's the key thing I want to say, because like I'm not ready yet to say like what is the definitive version or whatever. I don't know yet. I'll finish the game, I'll post, and then I'll make my final verdict. The Yoshi was certainly a big part of the 3DS's appeal, so for sure the Switch version will get, you know, a couple of notches like out of its imaginative score, but the Switch version does a lot of things really, really, really well. And I think the biggest one, like the biggest compliment that I can give to it for quality of life has got to be the, what the hell is it called? The Forge. That has to be like the single greatest thing ever, because it makes completing quests so much easier when you have a quest that asks you to build something. In all the other versions, it would take forever to find out which enemy dropped which good, so then you had to go farm different enemies, or you had to get a shiny spot, and sometimes you know, you had to wait around for those to reappear, things like that. And the fact that now you can just use gold is amazing. So once you find a gold golem, I swear to God, spend like 3 hours just farming gold, or go to the casino, and not the one that you're at right now, but the next casino, and just purchase, I forget what item it is, but it's the lowest token item, and then sell that, because you get like 1,000 or 2,000 gold, and you can just farm gold like that. And believe me, it's gonna make post so much easier. It's ridiculous. Like I don't even quite understand how this is gonna work in some of the, I don't want to spoil anything, but some of those super weapons, they require like the rarest of the rare materials, so much so that the game only has, say, like 3 of them. of the particular material. But now if you can purchase, I wonder if it's going to be like 1,000,000 gold or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
but
I
love
if
that.
they're gonna let you purchase everything. Maybe some things they won't let you for those rare items. I don't know, but yeah, I wasn't sure if that was in the 3DS version or not, or the PS4 version. I haven't played the PS4 version, but because I found that too, like it's like, oh well, there's not really any point of hunting for material drops because you can just buy them. Of course, I'm running out of gold really fast right now, so I really can't wait to find those gold golems because I like grinding in this game because of, I don't know if this is new to the Switch version, but like the super fast mode and just letting which I should have done in the 3DS version, but just letting the AI, everyone is at fight wisely for me, and that's it.
Yep.
And
Me too.
I've been playing the entire game like that so far. Now the disadvantage to that is once I get to the super bosses and stuff like that, where I'll actually need to strategize, I won't be as familiar with the game as I would have been had I played this the way I used to play the game. So I'm not sure if this will be a disadvantage later on, but I'm pretty sure I will be able to figure it out, a strategy, and get it done eventually. But so far, I have no complaints about this. This makes grinding so much fun, makes exploring so much fun. Everything is fast, and I love this. And the AI is very good. Like I've never died yet, and I've come close a few times, but it's like I don't mind. It's so much more fun for me playing a JRPG like that, grinding, getting gold, trying to fill your monster list or whatever it's called, because of that feature, like the super fast mode. I love this. I don't know if this was in the PS4. I believe it was, but man, this is such a great feature.
Well, it wasn't in the original. It's possible it was in the North American one, but that was not in the original. Neither was all of the ability to run. That too,
That's
love.
amazing. Yeah, I see. There's an auto run. I don't know why you would use the auto run option if you have the run, because I'm always running.
No, me too. Like I'm running in people's homes. I'm running all over the place. But that again, like for quality of life, what you just said, plus the run button, man, what a diff. Like, what a difference. I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to like completely beat this game in like 45 hours. Like with all of these quality of life improvements that are made, the fact that you can skip every cutscene without ever having watched it, all stuff like that, it really brings the time down significantly, and I'm okay with that. I mean, as someone that has played this game like 12 times now, I'm really content with everything. The forge. I mean, I haven't spent any money buying gear since the demo. I haven't bought anything. I've just made stuff, and if I just don't find any recipes or anything like that, because like I said, I'm not exploring that much, tough, and I just keep going.
Yeah, I think I should do that because I've been buying gear, and then like if an hour later you find the recipe to make that gear, and I'm like, God damn it, but whatever.
I mean,
is it me though, or in the demo you had access to the forge at any time, and now you need to go to the camp?
No. Oh, you're so funny. Oh, man, you're hilarious. You're so funny.
Yeah, I am.
Should I tell you? Should I tell him, ladies and gentlemen, or should I just let him suffer?
Dumbass I am, because I know that in the demo I had access to the forge at all times.
You're hilarious.
Where is
so
it?
Funny.
It's in the menu?
You press the start button.
And then you have the fun forge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the fun forge shows up. Nose for treasure shows up. The horse bell shows up.
Yeah, the nose for treasure thing. Yeah, but I did not notice the forge. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, it's the first one, man. It's the very first. It says the fun size forge, then it's nose for treasure, then it's the bell, then it's your quest.
Was this in every version that you had access to?
No, hell no. No, everywhere? Not at all. Not at all.
This is funny because I've been playing for 30 hours now, and like I just did a quest in the L'Académie des Médailles, and I was always zooming out to a campsite and then coming back when I could have just had the forge right there.
Oh, it's so funny.
I've been
It's
playing
hilarious.
games for 30 years, by the way.
Yeah. It's okay. At least you remember playing games.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
yeah,
it's
man.
like you where when you couldn't find the bonus items, and it took me 1.2 seconds to tell you where they were. So
Yeah, because they changed that too. They made it nested. It wasn't nested before. Before, like you went into your main menu, it went into miscellaneous, and it was right there.
Just excuses.
Says the guy who's been going back and forth.
Well, I told you where they were, and you were like, I can't find them.
Yes, exactly. I didn't realize I had to go into system settings. I'm like, why would you go into system settings to get a gift? That doesn't make any sense. I'm like, that's whatever. But seriously, those quality of life improvements make a world of difference. Like just a world of difference. And honestly, just everything, like the voice acting is superb.
I don't know about that. That was something I was gonna,
Oh, you don't like the voice acting?
No, in some instances I do, but some characters, man, I just like it, and it's not. Okay, there's gonna be some light spoilers here, and we're like 40 minutes in. But the mermaid quest, you skipped all the cutscenes, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
how do you know
I
if the voice acting's good?
No, well, I'm going by my team.
Okay, yeah, no, some characters are excellent, like the Monsieur Médaille is excellent, stuff like that. But in some, like it's like the mermaid quest, I thought the guys was irritable. Like I had
irritating.
trouble irritating. Yeah, I had trouble listening, and it was not meant to be that way. It just felt like some of the voices they've chose was low rent actors. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just me, but it doesn't seem like everything is top notch. So I don't know.
Okay, interesting. All right. Well, then that's something I obviously am not going to mention.
Yeah. Well, it might be just me. And I wanted to talk about that quest because I'm seems like I find like a hole in the story, or maybe it's just me. Do you remember the mermaid quest?
Yeah, sure.
So, like basically, this is light spoilers, but this is stuff that happens like 20 hours in the game. So it's 42 minutes. So if maybe skip 5 minutes ahead if you don't want to hear this. But I'm confused because the original fisherman was banned, and then the girl he was supposed to marry got remarried, and she had a child with another guy, right?
Yeah.
And then she threw herself in the water, and he saved the baby, the original fisherman.
Yes.
But he's not the paternal grandfather. Why does the kid looks like him? Because the mermaid mistook him for him because he looks like him. It doesn't make any sense. He should not look like him since he's not technically related to him, even though...
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's Japan.
Okay, so that's a hole. I did not...
Well, hole. It's
I did not like... I thought maybe I missed something, but I was like, he should not look like him.
No, of course not.
Okay.
Like he was raised by the other guy, so he could have like, like his hat and stuff like that. But yeah, absolutely. He shouldn't he shouldn't look like him. I don't remember exactly what the translation was in Japanese, but that doesn't make sense.
No, because the mermaid, like when she sees him, she thinks it's him. So he clearly looks like him, but it's like he shouldn't, right?
Well, yeah, no, precisely.
Okay, so I did find a small little hole. All right, so I'm not crazy. I thought maybe like I missed something, but whatever. Yeah, that was just for the light spoilers.
That was it. Okay, we're done with spoilers. Nice. So, what else? Trying to think.
Yeah, so yesterday I was watching the wild card game, the baseball playoffs on, and I just wanted something to do. I wanted to try the casino, and you got me hooked to that stuff, man.
I told you. I've been telling you this for years. You never listened to me. It was like this way back in Dragon Quest 3. No, I don't think a casino was
but you need to know what you're doing, because if you don't, it's... Because even, like, once you got a large amount of tokens, then you're done. You have no issues. But when you start... You don't have much, like you can't buy that much, and then you lose them fast. You might lose them fast. So I told you what to do.
I texted you.
Yeah, but it doesn't always work. So it took me like maybe 25 minutes until I got lucky.
Yeah,
But if
exactly.
you don't know that, like you know that because you've been playing these games for years, like if you don't know that, you might think, well, Jarrod's crazy because you are crazy. So maybe you're exaggerating or maybe you really got lucky. But eventually, once you got a nice stash of tokens, like you'll never, if you play that particularly slot machine, you'll never go under. And if you play, you'll eventually reach. If I would play this for a whole day, I would reach like a million tokens eventually, even without hitting jackpots, because you keep getting those metal rounds, and you keep getting 5,000 tokens, and eventually you'll get it, or you can get lucky like you and get 2 jackpots in a row. So
that was crazy, man. That was crazy.
Yeah, so it's like, man, it's addicting just seeing those those rolls, I guess.
Tokens?
Yeah, those rolls go and yeah, I really enjoyed this. So I can't wait to try the roulette once I'm there, and you'll have to teach me the trick.
Yeah. Okay, so roulette is a lot more
complicated.
How can I say this? No, not so much complicated, but it requires a lot more saving, resetting, like a lot more. Because you're going to put, I'm exaggerating here, okay? I'm letting you know I'm exaggerating. But you're going to put something like, I don't know, 5,000 like tokens per spin. Something crazy, okay? It's a lot. I'm exaggerating. For sure I'm exaggerating. It might be like 900 or something like that. But I know it's a lot. Like you're going to, basically what you're going to do is you're going to fill the table. So you're going to say, you're going to put your chips on red. You're going to put your chips on like even numbers, and you're going to then literally fill the entire center of the table with chips, okay? Then you're going to roll, and eventually, I'm just saying, eventually, you just keep doing this, and as long as you get like red, even, and like, say, the number 4 or something like that, you're going to win like 30,000 tokens, okay? Then you leave immediately, you go save. You keep doing this until you eventually hit like the jackpot where you'll get like 1 million times whatever you got, and then you'll never have to play the casino again. But it does take the roulette does take time, but when you win, statistically speaking, you're going to win far quicker than if you were playing a roulette. And there is a quest that you're going to take that says hit the jackpot in roulette, and that's that. But that's going to be, it's not in post, but it's in the second half of the game.
Okay.
That you're going to get access to it. But believe me, it's worth it. Just go watch like a movie or go watch something else and just do this, because man, I'm telling you, it's a good feeling when you hit that jackpot, because you're like, oh yeah. And the amount, because like when you do that, you got to think that not only can you buy all of the special like gear that's been locked away right behind like the token paywall, but you'll also be able to do what I said earlier, where you can buy that really crappy item. I think it's a ring or something like that, and you can sell it for tons of cash. So just buy like 100 of them and sell them all, and you will have more money than you know what to do with. You'll have like hundreds of millions of gold that you just don't have to worry. And so that's one of the classic Dragon Quest tricks that was introduced. I forget when roulette was introduced, but it's a good way of doing it. But in order to do what I'm saying, okay, in order to fill the table with chips, you need to have at least like 100,000 or 150,000 tokens to start.
Okay, because yesterday you told me to stop at like 10K, and I ended up.
Yeah,
I have like
no,
50K now, but
no, that's perfect. That's fine.
enough.
That's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. I told you, I'm exaggerating with the amount that the roulette's going to cost you. Okay, it's just that if you don't have anything, right? Like if you have like virtually nothing. Let's say you had like, I don't know, like 500 or something like that. You won't be able to play roulette, because you're only going to be able to put tokens on like say red, even, and then you'll have to manually pick a couple of numbers, and the chances of you winning are virtually impossible. Like you're not going to win. Like you're going to be spending hundreds of hours trying to do this. That's why, like, basically what I'm doing is I'm cheating the system by increasing the amount of odds I have. Yeah, I'm losing all of the chips, right? I'm going to lose every single one of those chips that happen to fall on any of the other numbers, but all it takes is one. It just takes one time to get lucky, and you'll hit that jackpot, and you're done, man. Like, that's it. You're gonna have gajillions of tokens. It's gonna be
What's
unbelievable.
the jackpot in roulette?
So in roulette, the jackpot is the exact number that you land on.
Okay, and how many numbers are there?
40 or 50, something like that.
So it's a 1 in 50 chance. That's
well, something. No, but you also have the color. You have
okay. So there's one of each color, or there's.
Well, I'm not a. I'd have to see, man. I don't know off the top of my head.
So you have,
like, it could be that 1 is red, 2 is black, 3 is red. You get, like, it could be like that. It's possible that it's like that, but believe me, it's not easy, dude. It's really, really not easy to hit the jackpot.
Because the number of coins you have right now, can't you like fill the entire board?
Yeah, but you don't want to do that either, because there's a sweet spot. That's what I have to show you. There's a sweet spot where if you fill the whole board, right, what you'll win is going to be negated by what you'll lose, type of thing.
Yeah,
and
but
there is but there's a mechanism for jackpot that I'm not thinking right now, because I haven't played it in over a year. It's not as simple as just that.
Okay.
It's not that simple. There is something to it that prevents you from doing that. I just don't remember off the top of my head. But I'll let you know. I mean, we'll be there shortly. After we get our orbs, that's where the mid-game event happens, and you've played Dragon Quest long enough now that you know what I'm talking about. And then you have, like, Act 2, if you want to call it that. And once we're in Act 2, I think it's probably like the second or third area that you visit in Act 2. So you're going to be there before you know it.
all right.
And so, yeah, that's that. I don't know if I have anything else to say right now.
Yeah, for me, like, I'm just enjoying this game so much. I expected to have fun, but not, like, I'm basically so exhausted right now, because basically I can only play this game when my kids are in bed. So I play this game about 2 hours every night, but I usually end up busting that amount of time that I try to limit myself, and I play way too much, and then I have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. So it's always like this cycle of not sleeping that's currently because of, like, having young kids and playing a game when you should probably not play that game as much. But man, it's so much fun. The only thing is I have, and this always happens with me with RPGs, I have 3 extra characters right now. I'm not sure if I'll get more, and I never know how to handle a RPG with more than characters than you can have in your party. It's not one of my favorite features. I always prefer to concentrate on certain characters, and I don't like feeling like I'm leaving certain characters out, knowing that certain characters I probably would prefer or maybe are better, or whatever the case may be. I hate that. I always prefer it for characters, like in Dragon Quest 8, for instance, even though the 3DS version added more characters, but I prefer having a set of characters, and these characters are always in your party. I know that in 11 you can switch during battles back and forth, and you probably need to do that for the super bosses.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. This is with me and my, I guess, fear of missing and not being good, or whatever the case. I don't.
But
know how to
I'm not
explain.
following. I'm just not following. Like, how are you neglecting anyone?
Well, they're not in my party. They're just leveling. They're just raining XP, but I don't know how to use them. I don't know what, like, let's just use Sylvando, for example. His skills, he has like 3 different weapons he can use, I think. I have no idea which one I should concentrate on, and, like, you probably need to concentrate on something depending on the type of party you're raising, but I have no clue. Like, if this would be Pokemon, and I know exactly what to do. But in this case, it feels over intimidating, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so let me give you a crash course here. Typically, what you're going to do is you gotta decide very soon: are you or are you not going to play Act Three? That's what you're going to have to decide that very soon. Because if you plan on playing Act 3, then it doesn't matter at all. Okay? It's not going to matter. I can't tell you why because I'm going to spoil stuff, but it won't matter. You put your points wherever the hell you want to put your points, but you're going to have to learn very quickly that well, not very quickly, but you'll learn eventually that certain characters have certain strengths. Okay, so if we take Sylve, and if you take him, he's a buff character. Okay, so I don't use him. All right, he's just not a character that's in my party. However, if anyone gets confused or they get anything like any of these weird status ailments, I'm gonna pop him in for one round to cure whatever it is or to buff up my characters, and then I get rid of him. Okay, like I boot him out. And I cycle through characters like this all the time, but you will have to decide if you're going to play Act 3, because if you're going to go through Act 3, don't worry about it, because you'll have so many skill points that you're going to unlock every single skill for every single character except for two. The last two, you have to grind seed skills. That's the skill seed, sorry. That's it. So don't fixate on that. It's not worth fixating, and you can go all the way through Act 2 without having to worry about like swapping characters. But one thing I wanted to mention that you mentioned about AI, you will have to be careful soon, because what's going to happen as the difficulty starts to increase, and it's never going to become a hard game per se, but you can get the AI stuck in a loop where what will happen is essentially two characters will focus on healing while two characters will focus on status ailments. And if that happens, it's game over. Because essentially all that's going to happen is you're going to deplete all of your magic. That's what happened with the Japanese one. So unless they fix that, but I've already seen it. Like, I've already seen it happen where the hero will heal a character even though Serena's like the next turn, so he should have attacked because the boss wasn't going to attack next. So just little things like that, you'll just have to be mindful of as you go on, because the AI can get stuck in a loop and then that's it's over. But if you level enough, like if you push it to the limit, you won't have a problem. Even the super boss of the game can be beat like with the artificial intelligence, as long as you have the proper gear and the proper like stats at that point in time. You should still be okay. So anyways, all that's to say, very soon you're going to have to decide if you want to finish the story or not. Because I've told you before that at the credits, it doesn't say the end. It says to be continued. So you'll have to decide what you want to do. But if you're enjoying the game, I really strongly recommend. I mean, why not, right? It's not like you have to do more grinding or anything like that. It's the story. Why not continue the story?
Yeah, no, so far I'm really having fun. So if I'm having fun, like with Zelda, Link's Awakening, like damn-based stuff took me an extra like 10 hours almost to do, and it wasn't exactly the most fun stuff, but I did it because I was having fun. So I think I will play this. It seems like I want to feel like I'm good at the game. I want to feel like I know what I'm doing. That's the problem right now, is that Dragon Quest 11, even though it's friendly for, like, it's not the hardest JRPG or whatever, but I don't think it does that good of a job, if I wouldn't have you, and even with you, of letting people know how to be, like, the techniques of this game, or how to be like good. Like it seems, if you've played the series since one, like you don't need that. But if Dragon Quest XI is your first game, which for many it will be, I don't think the game does a great enough job of teaching you how to play the game to be great at it. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, no, sure, absolutely. And I think right now, the only danger that I think that you're in is your reliance on artificial intelligence. I think it's okay. We'll see what happens when you hit Act 2. Because you'll see there's going to be a difficulty spike increase. So let's wait and let's see what happens when we hit Act 2. Hopefully, my time will allow me to continue to do what I'm doing, where just an hour or 2 hours a day, skipping all the cutscenes and skipping the exploration allows me to catch up really quickly to where you are, because like I know exactly where to go. I don't have to think about any of this, right? Like I know exactly where I'm going, what I'm doing, and whatever. But I will teach you some advanced techniques if you decide to really push on through. I'll tell you, there's a point of no return, is what I call it, which is where you have to decide yes or no, because there's a certain thing you're going to do with Eric that I won't tell you, obviously, but he becomes your go-to DPS. Do you know what DPS is?
No.
Damage per second.
Okay.
He becomes your main guy with a certain build that we do. Remember when we played Diablo, I was telling you that there's different builds, right? Well, it's the same thing with this guy. You're going to do something with him that I can already see your face. You'll be laughing so much, man. But the AI will never do it. Like, ever. The AI will never do this certain sequence that you need to do. And it involves boomerangs, just so we're clear.
Oh, yeah?
Not knives, yeah.
That's weird, because I have he is a dual thing unlocked.
Wielding, yeah.
And I would have thought that would have been useful forever, but...
Oh, no, it is. No, it is, because knives are where he does his status ailments, right? Yeah. Like, he can poison, he can do all kinds of crazy crap, which is great. It's just that you're not there yet, so don't worry. You haven't wasted anything, so, like, seriously, don't worry about any of that. But he is the type of guy that he can learn, I mean, I guess light spoilers here, he can learn an ability to one-shot a Metal King slime.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you can teach Jade, you can teach Jade how to do a roulette sort of move where you can essentially turn enemies into metal slimes type of thing. It's something like that. And when you couple those things together, I'm not joking, but in like 1 hour, you can boost like 45 levels. Mm-hmm. And that's the stuff. But I'm only going to teach you this stuff if you want to play the third act. But man, if you like the story, I'm telling you right now, the game proper, or putting in quotations, up to the credits is really good. It's a really fun Dragon Quest. It has a really good storyline. But what happens after is what I did not expect. And it's what pushes it over the edge and makes it like my favorite Dragon Quest of the solos. So it's like it's right after Dragon Quest X as my favorite Dragon Quest. It's awesome what happens. And I know you don't have the nostalgia and stuff like that, but I still think you're going to find this really wicked.
Yeah, no, so far, like, I'm really loving this. Again, we're not, an hour into the podcast, so spoilers if you want to leave and whatever, because I'm going to spoil a bit. But, like, I've played this before in a 3DS, like I've told you like a year or two ago, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. And you were like, yeah, you're exaggerating. But no, I had zero idea what was going on because it was all zero English whatsoever. And then when I just went to whatever it's the kingdom that I'm from, that's Destroyer, Dundazril, whatever.
Something, yeah. The names are terrible in English.
You find out that the big fat guy is your grandfather. And that Jade is the daughter of the king that's evil for whatever reason, which I'm sure I'll find out soon enough. It's just like, wow. And I played this already, and I had zero idea. So I wish I had played the entire 2DS games, because this would have been even better because now I'm in uncharted territories. But everything I'm doing before that was stuff I had already done. But now I actually know what's going on, and it's just amazing. It's a weird experience that I don't know if you can even relate to that. But playing something and not knowing what you're playing, but still having fun, and then replaying that same area and now actually knowing what you're doing, it's really fun because it's full of surprises.
That's how I lived my whole life.
Yeah, so like I was like, wow, this dude is my grandfather. This is amazing, and I like the fact that they hint at that and then they tell you like a few seconds, minutes after. They don't like I was like when they hinted that when he called Jade a princess, I was like, oh my god, now something will happen and I won't find out why he called her a princess like until like an hour or two later. But now you find out like 15 minutes later. So really love that. And really
they're good. Yeah, they're good. They're usually really good with that. The one exception that I can think of is 8. And again, I'm not going to go into details or whatever, but 8 was the one that they held for, in my opinion, way too long. Like the fact that they put like the critical, not even like a minor detail, but they put the most critical story element after the credits was like, what? Like, I'll never forget that. Me sitting there going, why would you, like, why is this post game? And 11 does it, but 11, they've already, again, I'm not going to talk at all, but the hints are already there. Your brain just hasn't connected the dots yet. And when it does, you're going to sit back and go, this is amazing. Because all the little clues you're not seeing right now, your brain is recording all of them. And you just don't realize it yet. And when what happens, it's like it's so cool because it's like a flood. It's sort of like what you're explaining. It's like this flood of memories are going to come back to you, and you're going to be like, how did I? Oh no! What? Oh, that's awesome! Because you're gonna realize all these little clues that they've been dripping to you, and here's the the big reveal type of thing, and it's really, really exceptionally well done. And I honestly have no idea how they're gonna top this. Like, I have no clue. If they make another single player Dragon Quest, I have no clue how they're gonna beat this one.
Okay, well, it seems like we've gone long enough for that. We'll definitely do a follow-up to this. If there's anything else you'd like to do about that, talked about that game, go ahead or not move on to your Blast from the Past.
Blast from the Past. All right, cool. I want to make sure that our records are kept up to date. You did Kirby Battle Royale, right, last week? Well, not last week, but last 4 podcast?
Weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. All right, so it is my turn, and I'm going to stay on the theme of Dragon Quest. We've actually had only 2 Dragon Quests. We had Dragon Quest 9, and we had Dragon Quest Swords. Believe it or not, that's the only Dragon Quest that we've actually had. We could have potentially had Dragon Warrior. I didn't check that, but anyways. The one I'm going to talk about today for my Blast from the Past is a Super Famicom game that was released, oh boy, I don't know, maybe 94, 95, something like that. And it was Dragon Quest VI, which has become one of the black sheeps of the series, and I have no idea why. I really don't know why. Maybe I'm just filled with nostalgia or stupidity, or I don't know. But Dragon Quest V, when I played that in Japanese on my Super Famicom, it was a really great game, okay? Dragon Quest V is one of the best Dragon Quest games ever. And now that the movie's out, and I'm hoping that we get Blu-ray release soon in Japan, because I want that, I was really hoping that we would hear rumblings of like a remake of that one, just because, it would tie in better with the movie and stuff, but nothing was announced, so okay. But the problem with 5 was that it was exceptionally basic on the Super Famicom. You have to think that like a Link's Awakening, Link to the Past, again, maybe it's because I'm just filled with nostalgia, but when I put a Link to the Past on today, I find that game looks beautiful. I just do. I just find it Just a gorgeous game. All the little details, the rain, the little bugs that fly off, little birds that fly off, all those kinds of things. Like, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I just find that a stunning looking game. And Final Fantasy at the time was starting to pick up. We ended up with Chrono Trigger and all these other games. And I know that my timeline's all screwed up here, but it doesn't matter. Dragon Quest V I found very, very basic. It looked better than the Famicom games, but only by a certain amount. Like, it didn't wow me, at least graphically, at that point in time. But Dragon Quest VI, which is the game I want to talk about here, was the first one that really did it. It blew my mind. And when they remade Dragon Quest III using the Dragon Quest VI engine, I was just like floored. And Dragon Quest VI is the one where you travel essentially between the real world and the dream world. And it reminded me so much of A Link to the Past that for the longest time it was like my favorite Dragon Quest game. And many people in North America didn't understand that, especially when the DS remakes came out. They were like, why would you say that? Like, are you stupid? But what nobody understands is exactly what I've just talked about. Dragon Quest 1, 2, 3, 4 are exceptionally basic games. Unbelievably basic games. Dragon Quest V was the first one to sort of start to evolve the audiovisual presentation, but Dragon Quest VI was the one that really felt like a Super Famicom game. Like, it felt like it was built from the ground up using this new technology. And it was like, honestly, it was like on par with Final Fantasy VI at the time and Chrono Trigger and all those games. And I was just like, yes, you know what I mean? Like, finally, Dragon Quest has entered that era where it is an audiovisual powerhouse. And so it really resonated with me for whatever reason. Maybe it was that time period of my life. Maybe it was the fact that it reminded me so much of A Link to the Past. Maybe, I don't know what it was, but it really, really, really resonated with me, that particular version of the game and its time that it was released. And yeah, and so that's that. I think Dragon Quest, the Dragon Quest games that were released on the Super Famicom, I strongly believe they need to be re-released elsewhere and officially dubbed in English, because as awesome as the DS remakes are, they are remakes. And I understand that, 2 of the 4 games that were released on the Super Famicom are also remakes, but they feel like one cohesive sort of like universe, and I would love to have the opportunity to play those again. And I know that we're coming up to, well, I think we already are. We just passed the 30th anniversary, I believe. So maybe for like the 35th anniversary or something like that, I would just love it if they could package a bunch of Dragon Quest games together and give us I understand they're not going to give us 10, especially considering that's still around. But it would be amazing to be able to re-experience Dragon Quest 1 through 9 in like their original states with some of the remasters. And I don't know how they would do it, considering we have like DS games in there as well. But I'm just hoping that we have access to these games, because I love the fact that Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 was released on the Switch. I'm so happy about that. And we're also getting Dragon Quest of the Stars, or whatever it's called, on mobile, so I'm really happy about that. I'm not sure what the hell is taking so long for Rivals to come to North America, because man, is that a good game. But anyways, so that's it. So my blast from the past is Dragon Quest 6. And now I'll stop talking and I leave it to you.
All right, that's a pretty good one. Actually, did play that one on the DS and thought it was a really, really fun game. Actually, loved the job systems, which I always mention, which was very similar to 7. But yeah, it was a fun stuff. I think it took me 42 hours to beat that one, so it wasn't too bad. Obviously, did not do the super boss stuff and whatnot, but I love the fact that you could ride on a magic carpet. It was fantastic.
You're a big fan of Aladdin, aren't you?
I am indeed. All right, so...
Okay, so wrap it up.
Yeah, that's going to be it for, I believe this is the 60th episode of Nintendo Fanboyz. We'll be sure to be back in 2 weeks. Probably we'll have both finished or near finished the game, and we'll do our final impressions of Dragon Quest XI. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.